What's up, guys? Capo J here. So I guess the past few weeks I've kind of been going batshit crazy when running my 870. For some reason, in the past, I don't know, like I said, the past few weeks, I've had some loading issues. This gun runs perfectly, it's accurate, doesn't have any issues feeding and extracting rounds, but for some odd reason I couldn't figure it out. I could only get a fifth shell in here. Now, I had originally installed this is the Remington factory brand 2-shot shell extension, and it's ran fine for, I think almost a year, but for some reason lately it's only been allowing 5 shells to get in there. So I took it apart, seems like 100 times. I made sure where I dremeled out the dimples up here in the mag tube, they were perfectly smooth. I used 2 different springs. I had a Wilson Combat spring as an extra, same with a follower. So I went through 2 different followers, switching them out, 2 different springs, made sure the factory magazine tube was smooth. Everything was tip-top the way it should be. Couldn't figure it out. Finally, I guess on the last time I took it apart, because I was getting extremely pissed, I inspected the inside of this Remington tube extension, and I'm not sure if you guys can see there, but if you notice, this is obviously a two-piece. This is your barrel nut that holds on your barrel, and then this long piece here, the actual extension, is what screws into it. And if you notice, you might be able to see there's a little bit of a hangover of like an inside lip. And I think what was happening was that the spring was occasionally getting bound up, and it was binding up on the inside of the lip where these 2 pieces meet. And it was only happening, I'd say, about 50% of the time. It wasn't every time. Half the time I could get 6 shells in here, and the other half, and I was just messing with it, and I finally got tired of it, and I just lost my temper and threw the damn shotgun about 10 yards. And anyway, so I get online, and I knew Wilson Combat made really good stuff for all sorts of guns, 1911s, not just 870s. And that's where I had previously picked up my short length of pull speed feed stock. So I figured, you know what, to hell with it. I'm going to, even though I already spent the money on this one, which is actually kind of hard to find and it was a little pricey, I think it was 50 or 60 bucks. Said to hell with it, I'm going to get me a Wilson Combat Scattergun Technologies 2-shot extension. So I did, and I ran, I think, about 120 rounds, 125 rounds through this shotgun yesterday, and every single time I loaded it, it took 6 rounds. So I think I fixed the problem. It was perfect. But basically what I wanted to talk about was, I guess, some of the features. Now, I know there's a lot of different mag tube extensions out there. Some of them are high dollar, some of them are cheap. But this Wilson Combat one was actually, I think, about $15 cheaper than the Remington one, and it's kind of unfortunate because I like the way the Remington one looks. I like how it comes out to the exact same length as the barrel and has the bracket, but oh well. Functionality always is going to come before form. So I got this one on here, and as soon as I got it out of the package, I noticed right off the bat that this one seems to be a little bit more heavy duty, has a little bit more heft to it. And unlike this Remington one, this one is a one-piece design, and it came with a wave washer. Excuse me, a wave washer right in there, in between the actual magazine extension and the section of the barrel there that slides over the mag tube. Basically, it's kind of like a lock washer, and it comes like bent. It's circular, obviously, but it has like 4 raised sections, and as you tighten this down, it flattens out. Just something to give it resistance. And I'm not sure the proper term. I guess you'd call it knurling, or texture, whatever. It's very, very aggressive. So it went on well, stayed on well. Even so, I use I've got a pair of soft jaw pliers that I put this on a little bit extra tension, and yeah, so far so good. Like I said, I ran the piss out of this thing yesterday, and I didn't have one issue one single time. You notice it doesn't come to the full length equal length of the barrel, but I don't care. It works, it looks good enough, and it seems to be pretty durable. So they have different models that come with different, I guess, sling attachments. It's like a semicircle plate that kind of goes up underneath your barrel, so it can come out the right side, the left side, or the bottom. But since I run a single point, I didn't need it, and I kind of like the look of the just minimalist single piece there. So yeah, so this thing runs good, and I'm happy. So I was starting to go crazy there. Couldn't figure out what the problem was, because I went through and tried to diagnose every single thing I could think of, and nothing was working, and all along it was just the mag tube extension. So I highly suggest Wilson Combat products. I've got a few of them on here because this thing comes with the pretty thick stainless steel mag tube spring and a high vis follower also. So I definitely suggest their services and their products, and so far so good with this. So thanks for watching.